Okay, I'm gonna call this meeting to order at
5:10?
5:10 PM. And first, I would like to consider, I would like a motion to consider the proposed agenda. Need a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Second, okay.
Chairman, can I just interrupt? I just wanna remind everyone to speak very clearly and loudly so that you're not muffled into the microphones. Thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay. Now, let's do the minutes too. A motion for consideration of the minutes of July 13th, 2020, resolution 2920. A motion, please.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Any, questions, thoughts, additions, subtractions? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, that's approved. There's also a motion that we have to do today, because we're on short notice there, but it's working out fine. To consider ratifying a public hearing for 331 East Main. That's resolution 3020. And, it's been done, but we need to,
The notice has been published, yes.
Yeah.
This is ratification.
but this ratification has to be done as a matter of housekeeping. So once again, somebody give me a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. A second.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Right, now we're gonna go on to, a public hearing, 331 East Main Street LLC. Tracy, that's gonna happen how?
So you're gonna adjourn the regular board
Oh, of
meeting.
course, yeah.
Ask to adjourn that, and then you'll open the public hearing with the public hearing script you have in your packet.
Okay.
Is my transcriber prepared? Do I have a transcriber on the phone?
Yes, correct,
Okay, thank you.
sure.
I need a motion to, close the IDA board meeting,
To adjourn?
excuse me, adjourn.
Recess rather, actually, right?
Yeah,
Recess. All right.
I'll make the motion.
Please. Second. Second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Do we have to open anything? I don't remember.
Yes, you open up the public hearing with the script that I provided.
Oh, that's it, okay. So as Tracy just told me, somebody give me a motion for that, public hearing, open.
Motion.
Thank
Second.
you. Second? Got a second?
You did, yes.
Thank you. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No, okay. So now,
Is that the script, Lori?
do we open the public hearing?
Yeah, you have a
It's open now?
you have a script to read there?
I do.
Okay. That's it?
Yeah.
Yep.
I call this meeting to order,
5:13 PM.
5:13 PM. We are here this evening to accept public comment regarding the application of financial assistance of the 331 East Main Street LLC. I have on file an affidavit certifying the publication of the following notice of public hearing in the August 13th, 2020 issue of the News Review as the official newspaper of the Riverhead Industrial Development Agency, as so designated by the Board of Directors at its meeting of February 3rd, 2020. I make the notice of public hearing and the resolution calling said hearing a part of the record of this proceeding of 331 East Main Street LLC. Further, I take a part of the record of this proceeding the affidavit of Tracy Stark James, as Executive Director of the Riverhead Industrial Development Agency, attesting to the service of the notice of public hearing in this matter upon the chief fiscal officers of the affected jurisdictions as required by the laws of the state of New York. So would the representatives of 331 East Main Street LLC identify yourselves and present to the board the application for financial assistance. This will come on Zoom. Hello. Please, let us know who you are, where you live, and tell us who's gonna start, go ahead.
Oh, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Chairman Crusoe and members of the Riverhead IDA. My name is Christopher Kent, and I'm an attorney at Farrell Fritz PC in Hauppauge, New York. I have joining me today another attorney from Farrell Fritz, Nick Terzulli, who specializes in economic incentives and inducements to assist proposed projects that demonstrate a positive impact for the benefit of host communities. We're also joined by the applicant, representatives from the applicant, Greg DeRosa and Bobby Walsh. We represent 331 East Main Street LLC in its application to the Riverhead IDA for financial assistance to redevelop a currently underutilized 0.36 acre parcel within the downtown center DC1 zoning use district at 331 East Main Street, with a proposed 4-story, 36-unit market rate apartment building with covered terraces and a rooftop deck overlooking the Peconic River, together with ground floor parking garage for its residents and a 838 square foot commercial ground floor space. The principals behind the proposed redevelopment project, Greg DeRosa and Bobby Walsh of G2D Development Group, are experienced real estate development, construction, and property management company with offices at 36 New York Avenue in Huntington. They have a portfolio of residential and commercial properties valued at over $300 million. Their prior and current projects include the development of transformative multifamily residential communities in the town of Huntington and downtown Hicksville. Perhaps I could call on Greg DeRosa to give a little more background of his company, its mission and objectives and accomplishments, and the vision of this product that it's bringing to downtown Riverhead.
Chris, can I just interrupt you, and can you just review with the board, what happened last week and the initial application and, the changes, modifications?
Okay, I do have more information about that, but I will go into that now. So in connection with our application for economic benefits for the proposed transformative 36-unit market rate apartment community located in downtown Riverhead, the applicant has made certain revisions to the proposed project in response to comments received and conditions imposed by the Riverhead Town Board. Instead of demolishing both of the vacant buildings located on the project site adjacent to the aquarium, the applicant has agreed to the Town Board's request to contribute $70,000 toward the relocation and the town's preservation of the Norton House, which was originally constructed in 1855. In addition, to create an opportunity for an interactive pedestrian ground floor space on East Main Street, the applicant, at the Town Board's request, has added the 838 square foot commercial area in the northwest corner of the structure. So what that did, by adding those two additional spaces, we're seeking to amend the application to increase the total project investment by about $100,000. So what this will do is increase our request for mortgage tax exemption by about $600, $610, and the sales tax exemption by approximately $5,175, based on a total investment now of $13,044,000 instead of the $12,994,000. So we're increasing it, $944,000, excuse me. We're increasing the project cost by $100,000 to over $13 million, and that results in a request for additional mortgage tax exemption of $610, an increased sales tax exemption of $5,175.
Thank you.
We are also proposing a payment in lieu of tax agreement that would be for 20 years, that as proposed by the applicant represents in year one of the pilot, a 40% increase over current property taxes that are collected on this property, and estimates to be roughly 996% increase in property taxes by year 20. In addition, the applicant will be paying a separate tax bill to the town for special districts that serve the property based upon the assessment increased value, the increased assessed value of approximately 900%. So there will be payments to special districts that are going to be increased by the increase in assessed value on the tax bill. And in addition, the proposed pilot that we're proposing to start in year one, 40% higher than the current property taxes that are being collected on the property. So if you'd like, I'd walk you through the project a little bit. Since this is a public hearing, I'd like to do that. You know, the site is in the heart of downtown Riverhead. Currently, it contributes $17,900 in annual property taxes. The two separate buildings on the property, one behind the other, had ground floor commercial uses on both buildings. The Subway restaurant that fronted on East Main Street, and the hair salon and barber shop that fronted, that was in the rear building that fronted on the Parking District access road, both had apartment units above. As advised by Phil Hancock, the current owner of the property, the total annual rent roll from the property when fully occupied was approximately $100,000. The expectation is that the annual rent roll from the proposed project upon full occupancy will be in excess of $1 million. Financial assistance from this agency is an absolute inducement for the more than $13 million capital investment proposed, and is a necessity for this project to be constructed and for the ongoing success of this venture. As a result of the town board's request, as I stated earlier, the total capital investment for the project was increased by $100,000, but that does not include the $70,000 contribution that's being made to relocate and preserve the Norton House, nor does it include the $108,000 to be paid in town recreation fees that have not been collected on other similar multifamily projects developed in the downtown area. So those two additional expenses will be paid to the town directly and not part of the investment in the property, but to help fund both recreational expenses for the town and costs to relocate and preserve the historic structure. The proposed project is a first to market in the downtown Riverhead. We are confident that the market will support this project. The report from Camone Associates that we commissioned and submitted to the agency analyzed the economic impact and market feasibility of the proposed project, and it concluded that all 36 units would be considered net new to the town of Riverhead, and it also affirms our belief that there is a market for the product. However, as this project represents the first market rate units in downtown Riverhead, there remains considerable risk to the investors. The assistance of the Industrial Development Agency helps ameliorate that risk, allowing the project to be financeable, developable, and sustainable. The project features an aggressive COVID prevention cleaning and maintenance program and fresh air intakes in all rooms and common areas within the units to provide constant fresh air circulation. There is significant demand for rental units of this type on Long Island, especially in the redeveloping downtown areas such as Riverhead. where supply is low. High-quality market rate, new professionally managed apartments are in short supply throughout Riverhead. This project presents a compelling opportunity to deliver high-quality market rate housing in an underserved group. In addition to providing the crucial new housing opportunities, the project will also generate significant economic activity to the town through a construction phase spending and new household spending after occupancy. In addition, the increased disposable income from market rate units will stimulate feet on the street economic dynamism within the downtown walkable community. According to the Economic Impact Report conducted by Camoin, the proposed project is estimated to generate $7,839,347 of economic impact during the construction phase and $1,733,994 of economic impact annually. I already spoke about the increased real property taxes that will be generated as a result of this project, increasing the assessed value of this parcel by 900%. It will also add all the multiplier effects of 36 market rate units being added to the residential stock in the downtown Riverhead area. There will also be a creation of approximately 125 construction job years and 3 full-time equivalent employees, up from what we originally proposed as 2 full-time equivalent employees during operational phase of the project. This increase was a result of adding the commercial space at the northwest corner of the property. The project is currently located within one of the town of Riverhead's opportunity zones. It's in an Empire Zone and an urban renewal area. Opportunity zones were specifically earmarked for economic development assistance. The applicant is structuring a financing plan that will enable the entity to utilize the federal tax incentives created by the Opportunity Zone. The Riverhead IDA Uniform Tax Exemption Policy includes an enhanced real property tax abatement guidelines and criteria. These guidelines include, among others, the nature of the property before the project was built. This is currently a distressed community. The project benefits, which are the amount of private sector investment as a result of the project and the additional revenues that will be realized by the project, and the impact of the project upon existing businesses within the local business community. Due to the location of the property, being in an opportunity zone and in a distressed census tract area, the significant project benefits that will be realized, both economic impact and increased tax revenue, and the positive impact to local business community as represented by the Chamber of Commerce, we are requesting the IDA to grant us the inducements that we seek for the mortgage recording tax exemption, the sales tax exemption, and a pilot agreement. So at this time, I would call if Greg DeRosa wants to add anything or discuss his business model and what he's bringing to downtown Riverhead. I'd ask him to offer that to the IDA at this time.
Yes, thanks, Chris, and thanks for the opportunity to be heard today before the board. It's very much appreciated. Chris hit on a lot of the larger macro benefits that we believe that this project will bring to downtown Riverhead. So I don't want to go over those points again, but I would echo what he said, because I think he said it pretty succinctly, and we believe that those positive results that he articulated will come, and will certainly help the downtown vibe, and certainly generate positive street traffic in an area that, quite frankly, can use it. So we're excited about the project. It is a leap of faith, because it's the first market rate, development in downtown, Riverhead. And, we really wanna build it, to the level that we build all of our other projects. And that's why this is really important for us. So I'm here to, answer any questions that you might have. And again, I wanna thank you for your time and, turn it back over to you guys.
Okay, so what you folks are going to say for now, you've said, correct? There's nobody.
Excuse me, I'm
here.
sorry.
I'm sorry,
There's somebody else.
we
here.
couldn't hear that.
Oh, okay.
You're done with your presentation is what he's asking.
Well, I mean, I could provide you just a summary, a conclusion. So to conclude, the proposed project will immediately increase the value of this property. It'll increase the town's tax base, and it'll increase property tax revenues collected for a parcel located within an identified distressed census tract area and within the town's East Main Street urban renewal area. It will add market rate rental units to the housing market in downtown Riverhead. It will add residents with greater disposable income living within the developing downtown Riverhead walkable community. The proposed project conforms to local planning and development efforts. And in response to the comments made by the members of the town board and recommendations received from the boards, committees, commissions that advise the town board, the developer has made revisions to the project that will add community benefits to our the proposal we already presented. This project will also complement other projects that have been developed in downtown Riverhead, and it will supplement the efforts and investment the town is making to develop a town square to connect Riverhead's Main Street to the riverfront. As far as that commercial space goes, we've already had some conversations. We're really trying to add that space to be somewhat like a concierge service to not only the residents who will reside at the building, but will also could offer concierge type services to tourists and guests to the town of Riverhead who come to the aquarium or to other downtown opportunity or restaurants and other opportunities in the downtown area. We're looking to provide information that could connect downtown Riverhead to maybe wine country, to farm country, to other amenities that are located in Riverhead and in the North Fork. And I did have that conversation already with Brian DeLuca, who runs East End Getaway, and he's also involved with Discover Long Island. And he was excited by the possibility of maybe being a part of this project and maybe offering these types of concierge services out of this commercial space. So that concludes our presentation. We're available for any questions you may have on our presentation today or on any other matters in regard to this project.
Okay, thank you. And now, any questions from our board?
I have some.
Lori?
Chris, can you just give us a sense of what the current status of the project is within the town process?
Within the town board's approval process?
Yes.
Okay, so far we've had a preliminary approval, site plan approval, which included several conditions. And we are looking to meet all of the conditions. And once we've done that, we will be hopefully receiving final site plan approval. So that's where we are. We're between preliminary and final site plan.
Okay.
Do you have an anticipated start date and completion date in mind?
Our start date would be sometime probably near the end of September, maybe October 1st, if you want to throw a date out there. And then it's going to be about a 14-month completion. So we're looking quarter 4, 2021.
Thank you.
Chris, do the rents include the property taxes, or is that something that would be separately charged?
No, the rents include the property taxes.
Include, okay. And what about the parking? Is the parking included also, or is that something that's separate?
Yes, ma'am, it's included in the rent.
Included, okay. And just, if I could get a sense from you of the basis, of your request for a 20-year term?
Well, we're bringing
Um,
something new to the town. We believe that we are, we're taking a great risk in bringing this type of investment for this type of project. And, we're not certain of how quickly we will be able to gain full occupancy and realize a return on our investment. So that's why we're asking for 20 years.
Okay. And there was one, just one more thing. The term of financing was, that space was blank in your application. Can you tell me what the term of the mortgage financing is?
Typically, the term of the financing is, anywhere from 24 to 30 months from closing on the construction loan. Is that what you're asking?
Yes. The permanent, yeah, the permanent, so that's just the construction loan?
Are you looking for the length of the term of the permanent financing?
Yes,
Yeah.
So it's typically 10 years?
okay.
All right,
Based
let
on
me
a
ask
30-year
question.
amortization schedule?
Well, go ahead. Please finish. I'll ask the question when you're done with our question.
No, that's fine, I think I've got
You
the
got
answer.
everything you need?
Mhm. Thank you.
All right, let me ask you folks, what are your plans for marketing this, since you said, and that's correct, that this is sort of a new tenant type of structure here in Riverhead, in that it's market rate, so forth and so on. How do you intend to market this, advertise it, get it around and, beyond
So-
our town here? And then when you get to that point, when people, hopefully many of them, start to ask you, okay, what do I do now? Because I'm very interested in one of these apartments. What's your basic approach
So-
to doing this?
I'm sorry for interrupting. Was the question, how we intend to market the units?
Yeah, actually, now, if you can work with that, that's what I really want to know.
Okay. So we have an in-house marketing department. We market, our projects in many, many different ways. All the way from social media, to working with, websites that, filter people that are looking for apartments, to mailings, to reputation, to websites that we own. We're pretty sophisticated in our approach to marketing. And we do a lot within the community. So, for instance, when we get involved in an area, we immediately start to work within the community to figure out how our development could add value to the community, and to work with them, as opposed to against them. And that's a tactic that, not only is the right thing to do, I believe, but also generates a lot of goodwill and a lot of good press and a lot of good, talking, and word of mouth about what we're trying to accomplish. So, we attack the marketing in an untraditional way. We don't just hire a realtor, put up a sign, and expect the units to get rented. So it's a little bit different than the average approach. As Bobby has pointed out, and I'm sorry, I'm working off of Bobby's computer because my laptop, the connection wasn't good. We've already reached out to the East End Art Council, the Aquarium, Preston House, Suffolk Theater, and the Long Island Science Center, to let them know what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish.
Thank you. Anything else? Any other questions? Do we have anyone, executive director? No, I don't have anyone in the room. But, could ask a question, because they're not here.
No one,
How got in the queue?
I received no notice to attend virtually from the public.
Okay?
But I do have some questions.
Didn't mean to exclude you. But you never take it anyway, nor should you.
That's okay. Do you know how much commercial space there is now, excluding the apartments?
How much commercial space there is,
Yes.
including the apartments?
Excluding, just the
Oh,
commercial space on the bottom that you'll be demoing.
Yeah, the commercials, currently how much there is?
Correct.
Uh,
You can get that
what-
number for me later.
I think it's about 2,000, square feet, maybe more than that? Well, how big was the subway? Do you know, Bobby?
Bobby and I just guessed at 2,500 feet, but we can get an exact figure from Phil Hancock anytime. You should be able to tell us that.
And, just for the record, your intended use is for dry retail, commercial use, not restaurant or,
Yes, no. There won't be any kitchen. It'll be something, if there's food, it would be either prepackaged food or, cooked off premises, or coffee, or maybe soft ice cream or something like that, but nothing that requires any, cooking.
and, Greg, how long did it take you to fill your other projects that are west of here?
Good one. That's my question.
So,
And are they
in
full?
Huntington Village, go ahead, I'm sorry,
No,
Trish.
and are they full today?
Okay, so, all of our other residential properties are 100% leased. We're waiting for a CO for a project that we're delivering in Huntington Station. Pre-leasing is at 34% right now, and the site is not even listed on MLS, because Huntington will not allow you to do that until you, receive your CO. So on average, I would say, the smaller projects rented out in about 4.5 months. Gateway Plaza is 64 units. My sense of that is we're probably going to be in the 5 to 6 month range, from CO to full stabilization.
And those are all market rate?
Correct. In 35 Broadway in Hicksville, we have 2 units that are, stabilized or affordable, but the rest of the properties, does not have all the units are free market, correct?
Do you have a formula, do you use an AMI for the county that you're in to determine what the market rate is, or is it what the market will bear? I'm just curious.
So depending on which area, the AMI is different, and then it's just a percentage of the AMI. Sometimes it's 120%. In Nassau County, it can go up to 140, 150%, of AMI.
Thank you.
You use the AMI for Riverhead itself or Suffolk County?
We do not have any, properties in Suffolk County that are rent stabilized or controlled. We only have 2 units in the portfolio in, Nassau that they used 140% of AMI. And that translated to about $2,400, $2,500 a month in rent.
And just for, the record,
Was
what
that-
are your proposed rent rates and the size of the units? I know it's in your application, but
What's the average size of the units,
Well, they vary.
1,100? And they vary from probably
600,
just
I
under
think it's
1,000 to
No, 610 is the
Two.
smallest unit.
Yeah, that's in there.
Yeah, but what about the 2 bedrooms, Chris?
The 2 bedrooms are, 1,000 to, 1,200, I think.
1,300?
I think
1,200.
1,200 is the biggest one. 1,210.
Where do we go, 2,600? Yeah.
The size of the units, the smallest one is 610 square feet, and I think the largest one is 1,210 square feet.
And on the rental price, I think it's 2,300 to 2,600,
Mhm.
if I remember that correctly, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, I think we were
Yeah,
23 to
22 you're right.
2,500 in the application.
23 to 2,500, okay.
What's that guy's name?
That's Greg DeRosa.
Hey, Greg, just to go back, I was unclear with Tracy's question. Were you using the AMI of Suffolk County or the AMI of Riverhead Town? Because this, the Hamptons would be included if it was the AMI of Suffolk County, so I'm just curious.
He's asking you, he asked you originally how you set the market rates or how you determine the market rates for the absorption here in Riverhead, and it sounded like you used the average median income as a basis and a percentage over that. Am I correct?
Well, the honest answer is, we look at what the surrounding properties are renting for, and we figure out what price point we wanna be in within what's currently available.
Thank you.
And what the market will bear, and that's one of the reasons why it's really made it kinda difficult to underwrite this deal, was because there's really nothing like what we're going to be building. I mean, if we were building a hotel, we could go to Joe Petroselli and say, what are you getting per night? What we're doing doesn't really have a comp immediately in the area. I mean, we think it's gonna work, I mean, we're confident, but we don't really know.
So
Any
kind of,
other
Bob,
board-
to answer your question, I think you posed it as an option of two things, whether we utilize AMI to establish a market rate, or whether we just go with whatever the market will bear. The answer is we will go with whatever the market will bear. And the best way to determine that, the initial ask, is to kind of calculate what the other places are renting for. And of course, the other places all in downtown are restricted affordable housing, and this would not be restricted. So,
And G2D, will be the management company, so they will be accepting applications for tenancy?
Yeah, so we have a property management agreement with, G2D Properties, which is a business that I own, where we handle all property management and leasing for all of our assets. So the answer is yes.
And just for the record, you're using Opportunity Zone funding, which sort of secures your investment for a minimum of 10 years. In other words, that provides a level of security for the community that you're not gonna build it and flip it and leave to someone else who has not been properly vetted to operate the facility.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely not. I mean, the only way this really works for us is if we hold on to this building for 10 years. And I'm a young guy, and I intend to hold on to it forever if I don't pass away for some ridiculous reason. But the reality of it is, the opportunity zone is nice. It's really more of a capital gains tax deferral. But if you don't hold on to the property, the benefits really aren't that great. And it's costly to set up and costly to manage and implement. So, yeah. And to date, we haven't sold an asset.
And since the change, I haven't had the opportunity to just remind Chris and yourself that with the retail component, we will also have to have some sort of vetting process for whoever goes in there, and they'll be responsible to report their employees. You'll be responsible for getting that information to us in a timely manner. And we also have, as you're aware, the local labor policy, where we encourage the use of local labor in your projects. And that's on a regional level.
We're familiar with all of those, Tracy,
Yeah, so-
thank you.
Yeah, so to respond to the first comment, I think, Nick and Chris and I were on a call, last week. We accept that responsibility and we take it seriously. And we find it comical when folks ask for help and then run away when it comes to compliance, so, you know, we're just as much as your partner as you are ours, so.
Great to hear.
There's no intent to sell here, and, I'm excited about what this could lead to, long-term in Riverhead, so.
Anybody else?
I just have a.
Yes.
Dick Amherst here, Chris, I don't know if you can see me or not.
I can hear you, you sound great.
All right, well, I'm behind the mask. Just on the term of the pilot, the sheet I got says starting in 12/1/22. Taxable status day, March 1st, 21. So we're talking about the 21-22 pilot year is the first pilot year, just to clarify when we, start to put this together later on.
Well, we're not gonna be, on taxable status date 21, we will probably have vacant land, maybe a very initial, foundation, maybe the slab.
I'm not saying what the amount should be, I'm just saying that you'll be under the auspices of the pilot, because we'll close, if we close this October, let's say we close October 1st.
Oh, okay.
We'll be closed before the taxable status day of March 21, which will be reflected in 21-22 tax bill. So we'd start the schedule in 21-22, just to, it could be a vacant land number, but that would be year one, on the pilot.
Okay, I mean, other jurisdictions have done that where if you don't have they don't start your pilot till the first, start of the tax year after your CO. But you're gonna start it even when we have vacant land.
We're going to fill out the 412A to begin the exemption when our documents become effective at the closing.
Okay.
And once they become effective, then the pilot will supersede the normal tax, and we'll write it into the agreement, so.
So,
Okay.
to clarify, you could be paying the current taxes for a couple of years until you get your CO, that's all negotiable, we'll discuss that, as we review the pilot.
Pay it through the pilot.
Correct. So your pilot may not determine the entire, abatement period. It may be longer than the abatement
Right.
period.
Yeah, I know, I've had that happen on
Okay.
several projects.
Right. Okay, just, thank you.
Okay,
Okay. Thanks, Dick, for pointing that out.
executive director, we're done, except, what's the protocol for closing a public hearing if we're gonna keep it open?
So it should be a written script there for you, I believe
I got
there's.
it. Okay, let me read that. Well, first of all, thank all of you for giving us a lot of good information. It'll help us down the road make a decision. And of course, while we're not done here, and we'll talk to you again, thanks, and we wish you well. The hearing which will remain open for written comments from the public by noon on Friday, September 4th. For notification of the chief fiscal officers of the affected taxing jurisdiction by noon Friday, September 4th, that they wish to make oral comments during the September 14th meeting. So for that purpose, this hearing is open, but it's closed for all other purposes.
You recess it, right?
So we should recess. Is that right? Okay. So I need a motion to recess the,
I'll make the motion to recess the public hearing.
thank you. Second. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
But now I need a motion to reopen the IDA board meeting.
Thank you very much, that you don't have to stay on if you don't want, or you can watch the rest of the board
Yeah.
meeting.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Thank
That-
you.
that-
Thank you for your time.
That's also for you too, Ms. Davis,
Thank you.
you can conclude your, transcribing.
Thank you, have a good night.
Thanks, folks.
I'm sorry,
Bye-bye.
Thank
who
you.
seconded, was that you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, we'll reopen. At what time?
5:55.
5:55. The next order of business is,
1 second, I'm sorry, who reopened?
Laura,
think
I did.
and then I second.
Okay, so you closed and reopened.
I remember.
I remember. That's fine.
Okay,
that's what it is. I heard it.
okay.
All right, so the next item is there any correspondence?
No, sir.
All right, let's hear from the treasurer, and the treasurer's report.
Yeah.
Hang on. Still checking. Cash in the checking account balance in People's United Bank, as of July 31st was $35,065.80. Investment balance at July 31st, 2020 was $145,454,000.34. Municipal money market account bearing interest with an annual rate of 0.2%. 25,000 was transferred to the operating account on July 14th, 2020. Revenues for the month of July 2020 include an application fee of $4,000 from 331 East Main Street, LLC, and an interest earnings of $35.73. Expenses paid on a cash basis for the month of July 2020 totaled $14,244.96.
All right, any questions? Any changes anyone wishes to make? Okay, let's, get a motion. Somebody give me a motion? I make a motion.
Mhm.
Appropriate. Second.
I'll second.
Second from Tony. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
No one's opposed? All right, then that's approved. Going on to committee reports. All right, there are none for the audit. But there is one for the governance committee. So I'll go to the chair.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
So the governance committee met virtually on August 19th, and we discussed compliance, the hearing review from the Woolworth Building. Mr. Butler was here at our last in-person meeting, and so we discussed his continued default of compliance report submissions. He had promised to submit by July 31st. He did not meet that deadline. He submitted an incomplete report on August 4th. So there still remain some outstanding items that have not been reported that are critical for us to be able to report to the state. So in our discussions at the governance committee meeting, we passed a resolution to make a recommendation to the full board that we invite Mr. Butler to our meeting on September 14th to discuss his continued default, the payment of the fees that he's incurred to date, and the potential recapture of some of the pilot for his project on Main Street. So I don't know that do we need a resolution to invite him to a meeting, or how do you wanna?
I think it would be a good idea, just because we're in a formal process.
Process?
Here. We had the hearing, and if we're gonna ask him to come, it's a formal request, it's not just a casual.
Okay. So based on the recommendation that was voted on at the governance committee meeting on August 19th, I would like to make a motion that we invite Mr. Butler here to our September 14th meeting to discuss his compliance reporting, his continued default in compliance reporting.
Second?
I will second that.
Any questions, thoughts?
I just had one comment. I remember from the last meeting when Michael was here, he made a comment that the application was onerous. And so, did he submit anything to simplify that application to us? Or just did not fill out?
No, he didn't, but we have begun the process of reviewing the form to see if there's anything we might be able to do to make it less onerous for our projects. That hasn't, been finalized yet, but he knew and has been aware throughout the term of his project, what the reporting requirements were, what the form looked like, and his responsibility in submitting it. And once again, he has not fulfilled that requirement, so.
So the governance committee, which I'm also a member, decided we wanted to give every consideration that we could.
Mhm.
And that was one of the things that we came to as a conclusion. And therefore, we're doing that.
I understood that part of his problem was purportedly non-compliance from his tenants, or to say lack of cooperation. Is that part of his problem?
That's his claim, yes.
Okay. Does our documentation with him with respect to the pilot, is he entitled to, if we were to, readjust the pilot, for instance, would he be entitled to charge that back against his tenants? Maybe it's putting it badly. In other words, if we said, if we were to sort of, how would I say it, Tracy?
Reduce the pilot?
Reduce the pilot, or reduce the pilot.
Right.
If I was to reduce the pilot by $100, does he have documentation that will allow him to charge that 100 over to the tenants who haven't complied in terms of providing him with that specific information?
So I have, requested copies of the leases, which we actually, if there's we ask for when we initially approve subtenants for a copy of the lease on file. And every year in the annual compliance, we ask, has it changed? If so, please attach. Because some information was missing from the tenant compliance report section, I requested copies of the lease. That was on August 17th, I think, and I have not heard a response from him yet.
Okay.
To see for ourselves if they are in fact receiving any benefit from the pilot themselves, if he's, to see
Yeah.
what his
Yeah.
structure is with his tenants.
Okay. It just strikes me that if he's truly having a problem with his tenants in terms of getting information from them, the only question is whether there's a lever against the tenants beyond a termination of the lease, which
Good
would be
point.
a bit ludicrous, as a remedy, and whether or not he has the ability to, should we say, amend his lease agreements with his tenants in order to sort of, should we say, bring his compliance responsibilities with respect to us into the framework of the tenant's responsibilities.
So one thing we do is we say we need to authorize the subtenants.
Yep.
And that sort of somewhat obligates them, it informs them of their obligations, and everyone, the tenant, the applicant, the subtenant, and the IDA sign an agreement together. But it's not a strong enough agreement perhaps between the subtenants, because they're not the applicant.
Yes.
They are strongly encouraged always to put language in their leases with their tenants so that they have leverage
Yeah.
to obtain these, because they can lose their benefits.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times I beat the applicants over the head every time they do a lease to include that language.
Okay.
Good question, good answer.
So, I have a question. So we approved the subtenants. So at that time, would that be?
Opportune moment.
An opportunity to then look at the leases, so when we run into this situation, we know exactly where the landlord stands, our client, okay, and.
So again, we do get a copy of the lease when they apply, for the subtenant applies. And we have them on file initially, and every year I ask if they change to please supply us with a copy
If
of the
they
lease.
change, right, so.
Correct.
So if they don't resupply you with new lease, nothing's
You
changed.
assume that nothing has changed, correct.
Well, and they sign that to that
They
effect.
certify it, correct.
Are we entitled to invite or request the appearance of the tenants under the terms of our agreement with the tenants?
That would be a council question.
That's
Well,
right.
I'm just thinking as you asked that, we could certainly invite anyone to the meeting that we'd like to invite. I don't know that we could compel them to come,
Yeah,
if you, if,
It would be giving Mr. Butler a little moral support if we could actually drag all those tenants into the
perhaps,
meeting as well.
Perhaps we could write to him in his request that he come, and that he either provide the leases prior to the meeting or bring them with him. Would that be sufficient?
Well, that's a starting point. I was just wondering whether if there's tenants A, B, and C, why not just have them sitting there with Mr. Butler? So what we'd wind up with, of course, is sort of a finger pointing pissing match probably at the end of the day. But,
Yeah, because one of his tenants always supplies
Yeah.
their report directly to me,
Oh.
as opposed to giving it to him to do the collective. So I know that one at least submits it.
Doing it, yeah. No.
So in the original lease, and since nothing has been resubmitted, we have to,
Assume.
well, more than assume, there's an agreement that if there was a change, that would be submitted, right? So in that original lease, where's the onus? The onus is on the tenant, how is that all?
I have noticed vague language that they have to comply with governmental regulations. And I always go back and I say, you really need stronger language. And at that point, leases have been signed and amending them is difficult, and they have the language in there.
Okay, can I then, are we in any kind of position to then, one, recommend language, or two, require that in the leases, that there is language in there to really protect this situation, because it seems to, come around and recycle itself with different clients. So-
We could have a section in our document.
In our
with
docs,
the
right.
applicant that said the lease must contain this
Yeah.
language. Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Okay.
That's really good.
I think we already talked about
I
that.
think so too.
You probably
think
did
so.
raise it, I mean, it's to their interest to have the language in, but
Absolutely.
in the negotiation of, gee, I need a tenant, sign this, get them in, get
Yeah.
they forget about us, then they come back later on.
Understood.
Thanks, Jim, thanks, Bob.
And we're trying to, get them filled up as quickly as we can. We're trying to do the pace of business, not the pace of government.
Understood.
Well, let's see him on the 14th then, I guess, right?
So I think you need to vote on that, Chris.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So there's been I made the motion, I
I
think
second.
Bob seconded, so.
All right, does everybody remember the motion?
Yes, sir.
Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. It's, passed. Thank you, Laura.
Does that complete your,
That completes the report the governance committee.
All right.
Okay.
There's the finance committee's listed on here, but that's been postponed, right?
That's correct.
September? What's
So
the
that-
date?
September 8th.
September
that
8th.
report's tabled?
Time? What's tabled, does it have a time? As part of the?
We did, I sent out I think I sent out a meeting
Yeah.
notice today.
Oh,
Yeah,
is it
a Zoom
on
meeting.
that? Or is it, I don't know.
It's Zoom.
Well, I got one, I put it down 11 a.m., then I think I saw another one at 8.
No,
I put 8?
no,
No,
I saw
maybe it is,
11.
maybe it is.
No, I think it's September 8th at 11 a.m.
Okay, then I'm
Well,
good,
anyway,
I'm
do you
good.
really wanna Zoom or do you just wanna get together?
I don't see why we can't just get together.
I will have to ask Denise, but I can Zoom her in if she's uncomfortable.
I can invite everybody to my
All
house
right.
for coffee.
Outside? We can do that. Let me just check to make sure I can do
Okay,
it.
sure.
That was September 8th, correct?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I should be
Sent it out
good.
today, I think, yeah.
I should be good. That's September 8th at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay. So we know where we're at with the finance committee report for now. So moving on. Any old business? Yes,
We
there is.
just hit that. right?
Well, you did it during the
Yeah.
governance report.
So that's good. All right, next, new business, there is none. And the executive director report, which we all look forward to receiving.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to disappoint you. I really don't have much, cause there's been so much you know, going on, but I'll say the New York State Economic Development Council Annual Conference is Tuesday and Wednesday. It's virtual. It didn't necessitate a resolution from the board due to the nominal expense of the virtual meeting. But it is all day Tuesday and all day Wednesday, so I will be on the computer, for those days.
So come knocking at your door.
Was that
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday?
You usually do, your timing is impeccable.
Is that the thing that I went to last year?
You go- Yes, yes.
Was it this time of year? Okay, I thought it was.
No, it had been postponed. It's usually May.
Ah, that's it,
And they
that's
kept
why, okay.
postponing it,
Yeah, yeah,
postponing it,
yeah.
and then finally they
Wishful
decided to
thinking.
do it
Okay,
virtual.
yeah. So you can log into that, or,
If you would like to go, there's a fee,
oh, there is?
but yes, it's
Oh.
$195 a person. I don't know what the second person is, I can find out, if there's anyone who wants to attend.
I found the talks are not bad, actually.
They're very
Yeah,
good.
that's very good. I wish I
Um,
could do it, but I can't this year.
Okay, was it Tuesday, Wednesday? I'll let you know.
Okay.
Good, thank you.
I think I sent the agenda a while ago.
I think so.
Well, I have one, I don't know if I got it as part of the group,
You did.
yeah.
Okay. That's really it.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn this board meeting.
Motion.
Second. Motion, got a second, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned, time is 6:12.
Everyone signed both attendance and the sign-in